I'm just looking at the minutes from July 14th, and under new business, I'm seeing the Meyer Nahum building providing 460 million for the, or
it was 460,000.
okay.
That must be a typo, and it was it's basically
Holy moly.
yeah. So we spent all that money, Chris. You missed it. There she is. Hi, Cecilia.
I'm back. Okay.
Can everyone hear me? Hello? Hello?
I can hear somebody.
Barely.
How about now?
How you doing, Chris?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
That's better.
Okay, this is going to be fun. So it is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call a meeting to order. 6 p.m. September 8th, the Fishers Arts and Culture Commission called to order. Go ahead and do our Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
All right, Kay, can you do our roll call, please?
Hey,
Cecilia.
here.
David.
Here.
Jamie, are you with us?
Here.
Thank you. Chris.
Here.
Katie.
Here.
Marisol. Jocelyn. Here. And I do want to confirm the others who might be present on the Teams call. Who else do we have on the Teams call? I see Gerard.
I can't hear you, Kay. I don't know if everyone else is having the same problem.
I am as well. I can't hear.
Okay.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Gerard is here from Community Engagement.
Thank you. Who else is on the Teams call whose name I haven't mentioned?
You guys know Marissa, but I don't know if she called your name or not. I didn't hear you. Oh, okay.
I can't
Is
hear.
that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else on the Teams call whose name hasn't been called? All right. Thank you.
All right, Icebreaker. It's going to be a pretty easy one because this is going to be difficult. So I want to know if you guys think that pineapple belongs on pizza.
Oh, can I start?
And we're going to start here in the room, probably go around the room, then we'll go to you on the Teams app. So Jocelyn, can you lead us off, please?
Sure, it's easy. The answer's no.
I feel very strongly it's a no.
Yes, when it's included with ham. From Chicago, no.
All right, I don't know if you guys could all hear that, but Cecilia?
I am a definite no.
Chris?
I'm into it. I like Hawaiian every once in a while.
Tom?
Tom, the question was, does pineapple belong on pizza?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I just get in here late. I'm sorry.
Good. Jamie?
No, it does not. I don't believe so. Yeah, I'm gonna go for no.
Perfect. Gerard?
No, not at all.
Marissa?
Was that me? Well, I'm here to right the wrongs of everyone else and say yes. I don't discriminate on my pizza.
Thank you. Catherine?
That's a big no for me. I prefer savory over sweet every day.
Perfect. Did I miss anybody? I'm going to go with a big no, and anybody that likes pineapple on their pizza is disgusting. All right, thank you guys. Real quick public recognition. So on behalf of the City of Fishers and the Fishers Arts and Culture Commission, we would like to proudly present a certificate of recognition to Jill Lehman and High Frequency Arts in recognition of her and her company's commitment to vibrant placemaking by bringing people and artwork together to create visually and impactful spaces in the City of Fishers, today, September 8th, 2020, signed by Mr. Fadness and myself. So Jill, can you come up and we'll give you your award, please? Cool. Thank you very much. Amazing job. Thank you. So okay, yeah, you're fine. We've got an announcement in here for you too for the event Thursday as well. Thank you. See ya. Like to, is everybody okay with the agenda here to adopt it? I would like to add a point for discussion under, I'm assuming new business here about potentially adding a treasury report to our agendas for these meetings.
Staff also has two changes. We'd like to have the community engagement as a item of information under old business, as well as the planning and zoning staff report.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to move to the consent agenda here. Is there any points here that we need to move to the regular agenda or a motion to move forward with approval on this?
Chris, we did hear your comment about the 460 million, and we edited it to 460,000. I wish we had 460 million dollars, but
Yeah.
Can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda. This is Jamie.
Second is Katie.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. Into the old business. Was that Jamie? Did you second that?
Yeah, I did. I made the first motion.
Who seconded?
I did, Katie.
Catherine?
Mm-hmm. Might also be helpful if everybody is muted unless they're talking. I'm hearing a lot of feedback.
Yes, please put it on mute if you're not talking. To go over in old business, we've got the goal sheet here, if my computer will pull up. And this may be a problem if it does not. Well, Ross, do you have a backup of goals? Thank you. All right, going over our goals here. So at first wanted to start with our vision statement that we came up with for the master plan. It's been a little while since we've visited that, and I'd like to make that a part of our regular discussions just so that we're hearing it, saying it, and living it. So our vision statement is to reflect both what the community is today and what it hopes to be in the future. A smart, vibrant, and entrepreneurial city, energized by and experienced through arts, architecture, and culture. So I've got our list of 2020 goals that Ross handed me here. Number 1 was brand positioning of arts and culture, and that was to develop the brand positioning for the Fishers Arts and Culture Commission that supports the vision of a smart, vibrant, and entrepreneurial city, as well as the city's core values. And this was led by Chris, Jocelyn, and Marisol. We have 3 items here. One was to develop a seal logo that represents our vision, and we have achieved that. We have 2 additional goals here to develop guidelines for what does and does not fit with the positioning, and then also develop criteria that can be used to identify whether a proposed project or idea meets our brand. Since Marisol's not on here, does anyone else have an update for us on the status and progress of this goal?
I
I
think
will
we,
say those were staff-led pre-COVID, so staff hasn't initiated any more meetings. So that's something that we can work with PR and the planning staff on reinitiating those meetings and taking the time now to figure out what does and does not meet some of those criteria. I know that was one item that we kind of put on the back burner, but I think that's something we could try to accomplish by the end of the year.
Perfect, thank you. Goal number 2 was build awareness of arts and culture. We're going to create a central hub, a conceptual gathering space that provides one point of access to stay updated and learn more about Fishers Arts and Culture. And that was Jocelyn and myself working with Ashley and her team. And goal number 1 was to develop a new hub. We funded $9,000 out to build this new part of the lifestyle website of thisisfishers.com. And that is currently in the works. We had a meeting 2 weeks last week or the week before to continue continuing progress on that goal. So thanks for her and her efforts on that. And then we've also got to start working on some content creation for that site as well. And our 3rd goal was engage stakeholders and community in arts and culture. We're going to create a creative council, engage stakeholders, the community, build partnerships. This was led by Cecilia and Jamie. You guys, to my understanding, have formed a creative council, and I believe there's updates coming for that as well. And work with our team here and community members to come up with a list of potential members. We have 1 unchecked item on here that says support projects and ideas that engage the community to deliver art and culture. And will that be covered in the updates in the rest of this agenda, or is that something we should talk about now?
Hey, David, whatever you think, we could talk about it now. The only update I have is Marissa gave us a list of some people that she thought should be involved in the Creative Council. Dr. Erica Buchanan Rivera, the Chief Equity and Inclusion Officer at HSC Schools. Mark Williams, who's the Assistant Principal of Fall Creek Intermediate, and a former Future Black Leaders organizer at Fishers High School. And then Keegan Loy, he's the owner of 31-7 Street Art Dance, and he's an MC and helps with the dance academy there, the dance group. And then Jaylyn Simmons, she's the owner of Indie Music and Wellness. And so I guess what I would like to have everybody is that if you know of anybody that needs to be, that you recommend being on this Creative Council, if you could forward me their names. Ailey and I are going to be extending personal invitations and making calls, outreach calls to them. And so the next meeting is October 13th. So we're trying to really get our group solidified a little more. Tom, if you have a list of the businesses that have been supporters of any art exhibits in their businesses that you think might want to be a part of this, that would be great. And I can do the outreach.
I'll be happy to give you what I have. This is Jamie. I'll follow up with those teachers that we talked about. I think it's just been kind of crazy for them this year, but with everything. So I'll follow up and see if they have anybody that thought of it's interested.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So one other thing, David, I guess, I'm hoping that at the October 13th meeting and then our December meeting that we will start focusing on 2021 with possible, projects, collaborations, ideas. People hopefully will start to engage more. And I see a lot of things happening, at the start of next year.
Thank you. Could you just give us kind of a quick recap, of how many meetings we've had and who's leading this into the future and how the experience has been so far?
Yes. So we had contracted with Ailey with Nickel Plate Arts, and so Ailey is going to be leading this group to try to get them going, and I'm going to be assisting with outreach. And so far, we have in the updates given to you today, we have a list of the people that attended this past meeting. And so we've got a nice group, and they're just still kind of learning about it, but we're trying to, continue to add. We definitely need the teachers, the creatives on the teacher side. As Jamie said, with COVID, it's been a little bit difficult right now with that, but.
Thank you guys very much. I know it's a difficult time. Trying to run this meeting and get everybody's input is rather difficult. So I can only imagine trying to get a new group together. So with everything else going on. So thank you guys for all your efforts with that. I believe that wraps up our old business. Moving on to new business, we've got an update on thisisfishers.com.
Is Ashley on the call?
Yeah, I'm here. I just needed to move to a microphone.
Oh, okay.
So this is Fishers.com, launched in August. This is a blog style website that is intended to be a one-stop shop for all things happening in Fishers. That includes any Fishers events from both the city and partner organizations. It also is a place to storytell around the people in our community, nonprofits, businesses, and other organizations to help people understand the vibrancy that is in Fishers. There will also be, we're currently working on building out a section for new residents because Fishers is somewhat of a transient population, people moving in and out. We want to be able to have sort of a one-stop shop for how do I live in Fishers and how do I get information on how to set up my utilities, things like that. But probably the most important part that we're working on right now is extending a portion of the site that currently doesn't exist on the external side of the site. So if you were to go there, you wouldn't see it, but it is the arts and culture section. The arts and culture section of the website is intended to be the hub that the Arts and Culture Commission has been requesting. We are in the development stage of this portion of the site and are currently working on getting the content needed to really fill it out the way we wanted to. So after this meeting, I will share some links that I would really appreciate the members of the commission and then of the other committees to share with artists to fill out their bios so that they can be featured on the website, the blog submission space, and then as we kind of get more familiar with this audience, we'll be doing some more outreach, but perhaps Ailey, you and I can connect more specifically on how to boost the content around arts and culture on the site. The beauty of the site is that while the arts and culture content has its own space, it will be fully integrated into the broader content of the website. So it will stand alongside other blog posts about, 5 things to do on a Friday night in Fishers. Hopefully that includes a lot of arts and culture. But it will be, like I said, alongside just general content. In addition, from an event standpoint, we will have arts and culture events integrated into just general Fishers events, but then within the arts and culture page, you'll have only those events that are tagged as arts and culture. And the discussion that came up earlier around, what is being tagged as a Fishers Arts and Culture Commission event does need to be defined so that we can fully implement that. But this is being built so that we can slowly roll it out. It doesn't have to be perfect upon launch, but we'll continue iterating on it and building it out. And our goal is to try to get the arts and culture section completed in the next few weeks. As most of you know, Stephanie Perry has been out on maternity leave. She comes back tomorrow, and we're all very excited about that. So this will be her new project as she comes back, just as it was when she was here. So you'll just start to get more updates from her. But if you guys don't have any questions, I'm more than happy to connect offline as well.
Thank you. Any questions for Ashley?
Ashley, did we get anybody from the last Creative Council? Did anyone submit any information?
I have not had proactive outreach to me. So my plan is to, after briefing the commission tonight, to do that outreach to them, just so that we can try to get them moving on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your hard work. All right, Ross, I believe we've got the 2020 maintenance and 2021 maintenance assessment tool.
Sure. So this is more of a discussion that I'd like to have with the commission, as well as using Ailey's services for 2021. We went ahead, you guys set aside $5,000 in maintenance funds for this year. There was one electrical box that had been damaged, so we reached out to Mark Anderson, who did bicycle ride and balloon ride. He's going to refurbish the one that was damaged, as well as his other one, for approximately $1,000. We've started that initiation. We've also have worked with Parks and DPW, started the process of relocating Mudsock Spirit, which was the piece of art that was located in the Pocket Park, to find its new home in Holland Park. So that's some of the stuff we've done with 2020 funds. But looking towards next year, if the commission continues to set aside approximately $5,000 annually, it would be really helpful if staff had some sort of assessment tool, most likely done by an expert outside, that could evaluate all of our public art and figuring out, what needs refurbishing, what can wait. And I know Katie had a lot of feedback on that when she was looking at the budget. So just as an open discussion on what you guys think, and then staff is leaning and suggesting when Ailey presents her budget at the next, or her ask for funds next year, that be included in that.
Sorry, my cat just joined us. I have some names that I could give you of someone that could maybe go and do the assessment for you potentially. I don't know what the cost would be, but that would be one option, is just to contract someone to do an annual conservation assessment of the works of art and make recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, are we guessing at the $5,000, or do we have any sort of data to support that amount, or will that come from this person that's hired?
Katie, do you remember exactly where that, I know it was a percentage of the budget, and I know we had looked at setting aside a percentage of the cost of each piece of art that got pretty high pretty quickly. Do you remember where that $5,000 came from?
I vaguely recollect that it was actually, if we took a percentage, which I think was originally either 2 or 3%, it would have been more, based on the list of artwork that we were working with. But since everything was so new, we opted for this first year to not spend as high of a percentage on maintenance. So I think that 5,000 was really in with thinking about the electrical boxes in particular, because there were a couple that were done in vinyl, and then anything that popped up. The cost of the assessment would probably take like your entire $5,000. So I think that was not something we planned. I almost feel like it's, if you're going to contract someone, I could certainly work to get you an estimate for what that would cost. Alternatively, you could, someone in, Parks or in Fishers and, Department of Public Works or whatever the appropriate department is, could just, inspect things for obvious damage. And I think that you don't have to, be an artist to really understand when something's damaged and is aesthetically not pleasing or no longer consistent with the artist's intent. Now, fixing it, is another matter. I mean, and in this case, I would go back to the artist for any repairs. Essentially, if they're a living artist, that's typically what is, the best way to handle that. So, if it's just a maintenance issue and something needs to be cleaned every few years or bolts need to be replaced every few years, that's something that we can get from the assessment. So I would highly recommend an assessment. I think that would give you a lot of information to move forward with in budgeting.
Okay, thanks, Katie.
So as far as moving forward on that, we are going to get a couple different quotes to get an assessment and then figure it out from there.
Yeah, I see it as a 2021 task, so I can work with Katie and then also follow up with Haley too on suggestions. So
okay.
Thank you for the discussion.
Sorry. Do those assessments normally give you like a 3-year plan or 5-year plan for what you should expect to do for maintenance, or is it just a year?
It can, if that's, you would just write it into the scope of what you're expecting them to provide. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Ross, do you want to do the added item to the agenda on the community engagement?
Sure. Gerard, are you still on?
Yep.
I am.
Would you talk
Can you
about
hear me?
that?
Absolutely. All right. I just muted myself and turned off the camera so you don't have to see all that background shenanigans. For those that don't know me, I'm Gerard Franklin. I'm the Community Engagement Assistant Director. I work under Ashley. And my team was really involved with the Shop Fishers event that just happened this past August, this past month. And my team was really just coordinating more of the business recruitment and the coordination with the artist of the last week event that we had. So just to give you kind of a breakdown of what happened and what worked, what didn't work, I'll give you a brief overview. Essentially, every year in the fall, we typically have a small business initiative, which Shop Fishers is usually in November. But we decided to do something a little different with the season of COVID and trying to get businesses back up and running and getting people back out in the public. We did a Shop Fishers Summer Series, which we did it all month long in August, and it was every Wednesday. We did a combination of different media and public relations, social media posts to get some traction behind this. And we thought that it actually had a very great outcome for some last minute planning. So just to give you guys an idea of what we accomplished, our goal was to recruit 30 to 40 businesses, and we actually beat that by a few numbers, and we had 55 businesses that we worked with. And they offer different, special deals, discounts, and specialty products that they offer to their customers during those days in August. So we have 55 businesses actually in the event, and I'll pull up the agenda item myself. 55 businesses, and we had 42 of those businesses actually donate some items for kind of giveaways or gift baskets that we gave out throughout social media throughout the month of August. And we did a short survey to all the business participants and actually got a really good score, a high score, saying that they would definitely do this again. And a lot of those folks said they would participate in the arts event that we actually had, which was that last Wednesday in August. So about 85% of those folks that were involved in the event said that they would participate again. I want to give a special thanks to Tom, Les, Ailey, if she's on the call, and the people at High Frequency Art. They really pulled a lot of strings in the back end to help coordinate and actually kind of connect these artists with the different businesses. So they were more on the artist recruitment side, and my team tried to match those up. So we had about 22 artists that actually participated. And we had 20 businesses that were actually interested, but only 9 of them actually hosted an artist. So we would like to see that number go up next year if we have more time for planning. But I have a list of those businesses on the staff report, and you guys can take a look at those. And also with that staff report is included a few snapshots of different artists. Which it was an array of different artists. We not just paintings or drawings. It was people, musically talented that were out there, people selling jewelry or clothing, you name it. So it was a kind of a great combination of different artists. So I have those videos if you actually want to see kind of a brief kind of breakdown of that day of event. Ross, if you want to play that, you can.
Was that in the attachment? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
You can, if you can share your screen.
Oh, okay. Got it. Maybe. All right, can you see that? Can you see that, Ross?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Uh-oh. Of course, technology.
Is there sound as well with this?
Well, and I won't make you guys sit through that, but the video is kind of choppy and buffering. It's about a little over a minute long, so if you guys have time, I'd definitely say check it out. It's just a really cool summary of how the day went. Again, the public, we got nothing but positive feedback from that event. I don't know if Les or Tom had the opportunity to survey the artists to, kind of get their perspective on it, but from the city side as well as the public side, some of the comments that we received were very, very good. But again, some things that we can definitely improve on is just having more time to kind of plan through the arts. And we actually didn't call it an arts crawl just because, again, we didn't want to have a congregated area of of people. We kind of want to, share the love throughout the city and kind of space these out and call them art nodes so people can, drive to those different locations and experience the art instead of having everyone in one central location. So again, we thought that went really well, but we would like to hear from the artists to, get that feedback from them to see if they like that, that way of setting up the event. So again, if you guys have time, just please check out the video. And again, I'm here to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Where do we find that video?
It's on the staff report, or I sent Ross and Kay kind of a brief summary of the event.
So
We
Gerard's
have
staff
that-
report went out. Sorry, Gerard. His staff report went out this afternoon, so there is a Word document, and it's at the bottom. Gerard, Ailey asked if we're going to use that video in any other way, promotion-wise.
So we can, hopefully, actually getting it up on This Is Fishers is a goal. And we can definitely use it with any other marketing, branding, promotional things that we want to do. We have freedom to do so.
Ashley, if we can use that for like the hero image on our part of the site and put together the different components that we want to represent, I think that would look really nice visually.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. And the videographers that were there captured a ton of footage. That was their goal, is to just capture as much as possible so that we could use it for other purposes as well in the future. So I just have to debrief with them, but we can absolutely use that on our site as well.
Thank you. I heard really good feedback on the event. So great job to everybody that was involved in that. What are the future plans with collaboration between you guys and like our creative council to further those initiatives in the community? It seems like that would be a really great thing for the community council to work on together with you guys to get more engagement from those businesses and community members that want to participate. Yeah,
so actually I had the opportunity to talk to Ailey a few days ago, and I don't know if she's on a creative council or not, but I know that some ways I wanted to get her involved with the businesses was to actually have her a part of the business council meetings that we have with a few of our business groups at 96th Street, Nickel Plate Business Group, as well as Geist Business Groups. But getting her in front of that group to discuss a few arts and culture related items. So this team in my division is fairly new. So I'm still kind of paving the way and trying to find different ways to improve our team and things that we're working on. So anything that you guys can think of and utilize me as a resource, please do so. I'm looking to get plugged in, any way possible. So Ashley may have a few other ideas of how my team can get involved, but again, you can use me as a direct resource and we can definitely get some things accomplished.
Great, thank you.
Gerard, would you be interested in presenting at the next Creative Council meeting, showing the video? And
yes,
I'm hoping we have a wide range of business representation there at the next meeting. And
absolutely. I'll make sure that the video is already preloaded. But yes, I'll definitely be willing to do that.
okay, thanks.
Thank you. Is anybody from the PR team a member of the Creative Council?
Yeah, we have Ashley is on there. Gerard, aren't you on there too? I think you're listed on it.
Yes, yes, I think I am involved with that group. When did we have our last meeting?
The last meeting was last month in September. It was like not September, August.
Okay.
So maybe you weren't on that one, but Ashley was there from
Was it
PR.
August 20th?
I believe so. Let me double check here. So can't. It was.
Perfect. Thank you guys for your work and efforts on that. Another
Gerard,
item to
this
talk
is
about under
Marissa.
another
Hey,
item to
Marissa.
talk about under
Marissa,
new.
Sorry, we have had with that business council, we have dedicated specific meetings just to art and culture too,
Okay.
and they're really receptive. So yeah, we can touch base more on specifics if you want, but they are really receptive as a group.
Awesome.
Great, thank you guys. Another point under new business that we added to the agenda was about the possibility of adding a treasury report to this agenda for our meetings, and just wanted to open a discussion about that. Is that something from staff that we can add, and does everybody think that that would be valuable for us to have on these meeting agendas?
I'll say from staff perspective, that was an oversight. I apologize. We can make sure that there's one on the agenda every meeting.
So we're okay to just proceed with that without any type of motion or anything?
It's just information that we can provide as a rolling basis. So you wouldn't necessarily be voting on, you do vote on your budget annually and any changes to that budget, but I don't see anything that would be wrong from a staff perspective of providing that information to you.
All right, thank you. And if we talked about it before, I apologize. All right, moving into community comment. Neely.
Hi, everybody. It's interesting to be in person. I haven't been in an in-person meeting in Fishers in a while. So just to follow up on a few things that have already been mentioned, as Cecilia and Gerard have already alluded to, we're figuring out how this creative council fits into different parts and pieces. At the same time, we're trying to figure out how the Nickel Plate District Committee fits into everything as well. And with the RFQs that are currently out in the public that we've been distributing and sharing through our network, we want that Nickel Plate District Committee to help us with the review process for those RFQs. But that group and the Creative Council and the Business Council all have very similar footprints. So right now I'm trying to get to all those meetings, weave all those people together so that we're not asking the same people to show up to 3 different meetings every month or every other month. But so that the other goal then is to make sure that everybody always knows that they are welcome, that they can show up if they want to, who to talk to if they're not going to show up, but they want something addressed or have a question. So all those conversations are rolling in process right now. I will also throw in a few cents worth for the Shop Plus Art event last week or the week before. From our perspective, it was really fun to get used to doing a program in the new way, in this new world we're in. It is clear that moving forward, one thing we're going to have to consider is how to communicate what a new definition of success for these kind of events looks like, both for guests to the event and artists and host sites, because our previous standard had been really attendance and sales, and it's hard to drive a lot of sales if you're trying to keep attendance down. And so we need to make sure we're communicating and finding artists who are as excited about being at the event as they, maybe more excited than about just pure bottom line on those. Not that that was a problem this time around, but we can foresee that as this goes on, a different definition of success is important going forward. I also just want to share Nickel Plate and Hamilton East Public Library executed our Comic Book in a Day event 2 weeks ago. That's normally happens right in our lap at Blackaway. But this year it was all online. And the fascinating result that we had was we had 23 artists participate for 8 hours on Zoom. They each created comic books from scratch in that time. We had 100% attendance, so everyone who signed up showed up, which has never happened at the in-person event before. And they all stayed the entire time. So I just want to share that to show online events still have some relevance. It also brought attention to Fishers and what Fishers is from people all over the country and all over the world. We had a participant from Abu Dhabi. We had a participant from Las Vegas. We had participants from Ohio and Illinois, as well as all over the state of Indiana. So those, I think, are really cool success stories. And we hope to take what we've learned from that and continue to share it with our other creative partners in Fishers to help their programming move forward as well. We're also excited that White River Sound Chorus, which is a women's a cappella group based both in Fishers and Noblesville, they tend to perform and practice a little more in Fishers than in Noblesville. They have named a director. They've actually hired a director, and they are starting to figure out how to do performances virtually, which is also really cool. That's one of the big sticking points for our local creative groups is how do you do performances now with social distancing? And so we're seeing evidence in lots of different quarters of how groups are starting to tackle that problem, and we're excited to share that as well. I got to look at my notes just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. I had this all pulled up and now it's disappeared. Ross, what was the other thing I wanted to share? I had comic book in a day. I had Creative Council. More than anything, we are looking forward to a good, strong fall. I'm really glad that we tried the Shop Plus Art event here in August, which is typically a slow time for sales, in order to help us gear up for the holiday season, knowing that that is such a critical time for artists and for businesses. We really got to have some experience under our belt to pull that off.
4-Day Ray?
Oh, yeah, thank you. 4-Day Ray now has an exhibit gallery space. They've installed the same hanging system that's here in City Hall and the library and other places. And so we will work with them to have a rotating exhibit in there every month. Not every month, I'm sorry, every quarter. Every month might kill my staff right now. But we currently have Frederick Durham, who's a photographer and Heron School of Art student, displayed in there. Megan Hutchins also has a gigantic piece of art that is hanging in the wall there. They had originally planned to install a mural, and she made one out of wood and nails and hung it in that space. So it's another public space that art is being presented, but it also emphasized how careful we have to be going forward. Their reception event for that was enormous, to the point where it was basically too successful for current COVID guidelines. So we're working with them to help, again, just kind of reset expectations and make sure that those events work for the artists, work for the people who are coming, and work for the restaurant as well. And of course, everything at Hub and Spoke that I'm sure Jill already mentioned is also really exciting. The event coming up on the 10th is going to be a big deal, but it's also just great to have yet another space where artists can count on having work and engaging with the public.
You also had your upcoming gala.
Right. We would like to invite you all. Our annual gala, at which we present our annual awards, is on September 23rd. We want to make sure that you all know you're invited. There are a lot of Fishers nominees this year, including Hub and Spoke, and some great nominees put up by the Fishers Arts Council. We are offering it as a hybrid event, so you can come in person and have a dinner and do the regular fundraising, fun gala event thing at Mustard Seed Gardens in Noblesville. But we're also offering a hybrid online ticket, so you can just attend via Zoom. You can come pick up a dinner and attend via Zoom. You can pick up a dinner and a cocktail kit and attend via Zoom. So we have lots of options, and it really is going to be a great way to connect with other arts groups from around the county. And this is where we start setting our agenda really for our 2021 goals as well. So that's why we'd love to have everybody attend. So you can get tickets on our website or contact me. Thank you. Was there anything else on my list?
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, so I think those are all the community updates, unless somebody has a question for me.
Questions or comments for Ailey?
There really has been a tremendous amount going on in Fishers in the past 2 months, with all these new sites coming online and these new fun programs coming together. So we're really excited about that. Oh, there is one more. what are they called, Thompson Thrift and the Fishers District are starting to move forward with their other 2 murals. They're hoping to get a 3rd mural installed before the end of this year and may hold the other one off until the beginning of next year, just so that they can get as many sort of media points out of it as possible. Both of those artists have been updated on that plan and are still on board with moving forward.
Amazing. Congrats for getting through all of that with everything that's going on. A lot of challenges out there. So thank you for your commitment to arts and culture. Mr. Rich, do you have an update for us?
Tom, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We gave you a sheet that had all of our activities listed on it that we've been engaged in since COVID-19. I would like to address what Gerard was talking about, the August 26th artist nodes. We came very quickly to realize that the structure of Fishers right now does not lead to an arts crawl, which is why we came up with the term artist nodes or art nodes, so that we could then hook up with businesses to drive traffic to 6, 7, 8, depending on what we needed, different locations. The artists like the idea, the businesses like the idea. We just need next year to really drive the marketing of it a little bit more solidly. As Gerard said, it was just some last minute things, but as you know, we're an all volunteer organization and we spent 100 hours on this event. Just to give you an idea of what's involved. This year we've created the virtual gallery as well as the online gallery. And it really would be nice to see some of you come out September 18th to our caricature and illustration arts reception, and also in October, when we will have our first ever juried exhibit in Fishers, being underwritten by Jiffy Lube of Indiana. We also have our Monday interactive art. This coming weekend, we will be again working with the city and the Parks and Rec to support them in Harvest Fest. We will have 15 artists displaying their art, and they're all excited about doing that. The art at City Hall is already booked through 2021. We have 16 new exhibits coming in, and 2022 is about a third of the way full. So again, I hope all of you can make it. End of the year events will also be our 3rd year doing that. The Shop Fishers and Winter Wonderland of Art. We got grants from the National Endowment of the Arts and the Indianapolis Arts Commission to offer that. And that is where we actually pay the artists to demonstrate their art and show art participants how to create their own artwork. So those are just some of the things. You have it all in front of you. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Questions?
Tom, that is just amazing. I'll tell you, I'm so impressed. It just, you are such a wonderful leader for the Fishers Arts Council and your team. And so I just want to applaud all your work, your hard work and everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would definitely echo that.
Yeah,
I would definitely echo that. The City Hall gallery right now is amazing. I love the art pieces out there right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Do we have some
Thank you, David.
announcements? I guess we. Sorry. We've got an announcement from Jill at High Frequency Arts for her open house and reception at Hub and Spoke. It is next Thursday, September 10th. Nope. Yeah, this Thursday, September 10th from 4 to 7. There's a RSVP link on the agenda here. And we've got the art gallery at City Hall by Fishers, which you mentioned. September reception for Friday, September 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. And then we've got the next Creative Council meeting, October 13th, 2020, at 6 p.m. via Microsoft Teams. Any other announcements that anyone wants to throw out?
Oh, this is Jamie. We've talked before about the high school kids that make the feature film. We were not able to do that this year because of obviously the kids being at home. So I have transitioned it from rather than being a feature-length film to being a film festival in the spring where all the kids are going to make shorts. So we're going to have like maybe even start that as an annual film festival. I know in the past we had talked about potentially doing something with the city. This might be an avenue where we could even like employ those kids to go out and shoot some of that footage around the city because they'd be in small groups, obviously following all the rules. So that's what's up with the filmmaking thing. I thought that was kind of an interesting turn we're taking, trying to make lemons out of lemonade with all the COVID restrictions.
I think that's a great idea. Can you share more information as that develops?
Yeah, we'll do. We just had our first meeting the other day, and so we're kind of just fleshing it out. I basically have made like an online film school that the kids can use as a resource to learn about filmmaking, but also connect with other people, and also serves as a want ads to kind of find crew members in the school to help them form their own groups. So, but I'll keep you guys in the loop.
Perfect. Thank you. Since these calls and meetings that are in person and virtual are kind of difficult, is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about that maybe I glossed through or didn't give you an opportunity to put your 2 cents in on, or anything else that we need to discuss here before we call it a day? We're done a few minutes early, and just want to make sure that I'm giving everybody a chance to talk.
If there's no one virtually, I will say, David, you guys got this in your staff report under planning and zoning, but I want to give another shout out to the commission at the July meeting. You guys over $460,000 in funds being appropriated. So right now the city has 3 different RFQs. We have the Nickel Plate Trail Police Station mural, which is open until next Monday. That's a $25,000 budget for a mural, 1,000 square feet. We have the 4th series at the Edge Garage, which is a $10,000 budget for the artist. That'll be digital art that is then transferred to canvas panels. And we also have a very large one, our $275,000 budget right now for the gateway feature off of the interstate along 116th. We also began discussions with Ignite and the Hamilton East Public Library. Caitlin Coyne over there is going to be heading up from their side the $100,000 that we've set aside for the art project at the library. So those are your 2 big signatures. And I've also, the last one was the Black Culture Icon. That'll be the first one you guys will see. Coda and Israel have been working really hard, and we'll see that in October. It'll be down here in the Nickel Plate District. So those were all the projects that you guys funded at the July meeting. So thank you.
Ross, and maybe you put that out. What did people vote on? We had to vote for that one, the social justice one. We had to we had to vote on something. Did you find out what the results were on that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. That was for which icon were we depicting? And I believe they chose West Montgomery as their first one. And if they get the funding for their second one, I think they would choose, I'm blanking on her name. Her name was Vivian. So that was the artist that they were looking for depicting.
Right. Okay, thank you.
This is Marissa. I wanted to throw in just one last thing. It wasn't mentioned on our staff report. We had the Fisher's Blues Fest this past weekend, Friday and Saturday, and it looked differently this year because of social distancing and masks. But we had some incredible artists, and we were able to get 1,000 people in on Friday night and 900 people on Saturday, and they were all socially distanced and had a great time. So I think it was very successful. So wanted to let you guys know.
Last call.
Hi, everybody. This is Jocelyn. I just want to support something that Cecilia mentioned a few moments ago. At the bottom of our agenda, it reminded me our next meeting is November 10th.
and that's our final one for the year. So perhaps we look at that meeting to include on the agenda like a 2021 planning conversation somehow. I always like how we review our goals, and it just seems like that would be a good opportunity to regroup a little bit.
Good point, Jocelyn. Yeah.
Very good. Last call. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second by Cecilia.
All right, meeting's over.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
Bye,
everybody
everybody.
for their effort and hard work and putting up with me through this call/meeting. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.